Hey folks, my name is Cameron. If you're new to this channel, then welcome. If you're not new to this channel, then welcome back. It is wonderful to have you here. So really quick, you might be hearing people in the background. My mom is a teacher and she is doing virtual class kind of stuff upstairs. My dad is working in the other room due to COVID. We're doing the best that we can online. So I just wanted to give you all a heads up if you hear anyone in the background during this introduction, it's because we're doing what we can. I'm recording this later than the video that is coming up has been made. So just know that if anything's changed, if my setting has changed, it's because I'm recording this after the video has taken place. And yeah, so really quick disclaimer before we get into this video. I am doing this video series in an effort to educate people about the LGBTQ+ community by using my experiences and the other experiences that others are willing to share with us. So this video today is going to be an interview with someone named Beck. Beck is the owner of a gym in Portland, Oregon named Sweet Momentum Fitness, and he has some really cool stuff that he wants to share with us about movement and being one with your body and with yourself and listening to your body and relating that all to being trans. And especially because I had just when this video was filmed, I was a few weeks off of top surgery, and so he was super open to helping me find ways to use my body to help heal itself. And that was really valuable. And yeah, so I really hope you all enjoy the video. Big thanks to Beck, and yeah, enjoy.
Hi, Beck. It's wonderful to see you. Would you mind introducing yourself to the channel?
Sure. My name is Beck Beveridge. I am a movement educator, and I own a fitness studio in Portland called Sweet Momentum Fitness. And I love to use fitness as a tool to help people become more connected with their bodies. And I, as a transmasculine person, I work a lot with other trans folks.
Yeah. Your community, like the community that Sweet Momentum has made throughout its years of progression, it's just been like this huge positive outlet. I mean, I even went to your gym for a little bit and it was a super great place to be. And I think it's so great how like body positive, like everything positive and super open space, you know, it's such
Right
a
on.
cool gym.
Thanks. I'm so stoked to be here. Thanks for inviting me to chat with you.
Yeah, no problem. And some of you don't know, but we tried to record this video a while ago, and I had to go to the bathroom, so I shut my computer really fast, and then it didn't save the video. So Beck has been so nice to record this with me again. So just wanted to put that out there and show the Beck is really going for it. So thank you. I appreciate it.
The wild west of like technical difficulties. You just got to roll with it.
Yeah, I know my top surgery video isn't even uploading right now, and I'm just like, so.
Yep.
Deep breaths. Okay, so I know that previously you were not the owner of Sweet Momentum. It's kind of been handed down a line of people, but you were there from like the beginning, right?
Yeah, I think so. Luke Jude opened Sweet Momentum. And then I think I came along as his client, I want to say maybe a year and a half afterwards. And then I started working with Luke, first person he hired, about 2 years after that.
Right. So how has like Sweet Momentum's like mission changed through the hand it's been like held with?
Yeah. I think that like our core mission and our core values haven't really changed. One of the things that I fell in love with about Sweet Mo when I first started coming as a client is that it was just this beautiful kind of like weirdly rare space where anybody could come from any walk of life, and everyone would just feel super welcome and like you can be yourself. And I think and I hope that has stayed true. But you know, like every business and every person with a career, you learn new things and you grow as you go. So we started out doing a lot of like high intensity interval training and like challenges and that sort of thing. And now we've moved over to this other sort of style of training that keeps a lot of that the like functional aspect, but adds more of like a somatic approach where you are in it to like be moving, but also learning a lot about your body and your relationship with your body.
That's, oh my gosh, yeah. It's so hard. Like, I feel like we talked about this in the last time that we like recorded it, but it's hard to recognize what your body needs when it's constantly being given a schedule. I remember
Mhm.
us talking about that, and I feel like not only what I'm hearing is like not only has like the mission kind of changed, like the mission statement of Sweet Momentum, like it's carried the same ish kind of like deal, but like the movement has changed as people grow and develop, and like it's really cool to like go from one way of exercising and then figuring out like, oh, and now I can listen to like exercise that my body needs. Cause like I know for myself, like I can't just like start exercising and know exactly what makes me feel good. I have to like
Mhm.
go through it, you know? And then I understand like, oh, maybe I want to do this today. Like that's usually, I usually feel like this afterwards. So like that's valuable, Beck.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's
I feel like that's one of the things, like we work with so many people who in their lives are like on a mission, like they, you know, are doing great work out like in the queer community or just in our community in Portland in general. And they know what their mission is in life, but then it comes to movement and they've been so hyper focused on getting the job done that connecting to their bodies, that piece sort of falls by the wayside. And so it's like, instead of just coming in and doing a bunch of sets of and reps of stuff, can we use this time to explore and develop a connection that can go on to help you in the work that you're already doing?
right. And like the thing that like I really connect to is that when I like I've done sports and I've done like exercising since since I was like younger than 5, like competitively, and it changed into such an unhealthy relationship to the fact that exercising I was exercising to change my body, like
Mhm.
like the fat loss gimmicks, the weight loss gimmicks, the beef up, all that kind of stuff, and people have specific goals that they want to get to. And it's so interesting to see how like when I think about exercise now, I think about, oh, I should probably try this because like I feel good afterwards. And you know, it's hard to have self-confidence. It's like not, I never thought that would be attainable for myself, and
Yeah,
lots of things have changed in the past few weeks, but like it's it's interesting how like going into exercise with a specific goal and outcome that you want to achieve changes the entire experience, as instead of like going into like exercise for wanting to do it.
totally. Yeah, yeah. Just think about the way that you feel when you approach a workout, and your mindset around the workout is, I have to do this because if I don't do this, like I'm not a good person, like I'm not being the best version of myself, like all of this like negative stuff. Then the way that you move when you're in that workout is just going to be like that same like cycle of punishment, and am I doing this right? Am I getting the results that I want? And you're going to be caught up here in that conversation
Yeah.
and not like in the thing that you're actually doing.
And how can you look forward to something that becomes such a negative experience? Because
Yes.
I psyched myself up to think it was a good experience when it was really not for me. Like I would go and then I would just be feeling so bogged down. And then once I was done, I was like, oh, thank God.
I got through it. I made it.
I made it. Tomorrow's a new day, but we're not thinking about that yet. You want to look forward to it. And I feel like the message that your gym kind of gives off is like, let's look forward to every day that we like exercise, and let's do it together. Let's figure it out.
Totally. Yeah. 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 And it doesn't have to be about self-loathing and hating yourself. It can just be about like doing the thing with the people that you love because it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so powerful. Movement is so powerful. It's just
Totally.
we have our society is like, let's put a lot of things on it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
that's our second question. So I'm gonna move on to the next one. I just get so excited talking about things with you.
Yeah.
So the next question was when I was in pre-op. So for any of you who don't know, I am post-op top surgery. But this question was written beforehand. I believe it's still valuable, so I'm still going to ask it. But what would you recommend for someone who is preparing for top surgery, physicality and mental wise? Did I say that right?
It was there. It was there. I got you.
Good.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So someone who is who's still binding, looking forward to surgery. I think, and I like the way that you phrase that question, combining like the physical and the mental, because it's like both very, very like the same thing, you know. I would do a few things, and the answers that I'm going to give are probably not, it's not going to be your typical fitness answer, and that it's not like do sets and reps of certain exercises. It's more just start noticing the communications that your body is sending you throughout the day and start responding to those communications. So things like when you're wearing your binder, notice if you're breathing. Number one, are you breathing? You know, when you do certain things. Notice how it feels. Like, are you in pain, or does it feel really good? Does it feel really empowering? And then back to like that idea of like starting to respond to your body's needs. We want to start creating this relationship of trust where your body says, I need something, and then you respond and say, okay, here, I'm going to give it to you.
Right.
Because that's what healing's all about. It's like your body saying, I need to rest, and then you saying, okay, here, I can give that to you.
Right. And as someone who's heard this advice like a few weeks ago and then gone through top surgery, I can say 100% that I've been thinking about this so often. And like, I'm not even joking. I was thinking about it yesterday. I was really thirsty, and I was like, I'm so thirsty. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm thirsty. Remember what Beck said? Beck said, let your body know that you're going to fix that need. I was like, okay, so I don't have my water bottle with me now, but when I'm able to get it, that's going to be the first thing that I do, because I need to take care of myself. And it's like, I think for a lot of people who struggle with dysphoria or dysmorphia or any type of like insecurities or, you know, anything along those lines, it's really hard to put value on your needs. At least that's been my experience, and I don't want to speak for anyone who like hasn't experienced that, because I mean, self-care comes from, you know, totally different perspectives. But for me personally, dealing with dysmorphia, dealing with dysphoria, it's made it really hard for me to think, oh yeah, I need food, so I'm going to eat it now. It's always been, I feel hungry, but I probably shouldn't eat. Like, you know, or like, I'm thirsty, but I don't have my water bottle, you know, or it's been like, I need to sleep, but you know, all of these things. And it's so easy to just kind of be like, cause your bodies like are meant to work, you know, and you're supposed to do that. But I realized that like after top surgery, it was really difficult for me to like all of a sudden put everything, like my entire life, into my parents' hands, like my caregivers, and just say like, these are my needs and I need them met. And when I like asked for something, like if I asked for water or if I asked for food or if I asked to go to the bathroom, they were there when I needed it. And it's awesome. Yeah, and my body was just like, oh, this is really nice, and I was able to calm down a bit. And like through the past few weeks, I've seen not only like my mentality on that change, but also my physicality with that change. Because like you know, I've always struggled with like intuitive eating. I've always just like put myself on a schedule, put myself on like a meal plan or whatever. And it just, I didn't have a choice. I had to listen to it because, you know, sometimes I was nauseous or something and I couldn't eat then. Or sometimes I would wake up at 2 and, you know, it'd be like, well, I'm hungry now, you know,
Yeah.
and now, you know, I look around and I kind of think, oh, like I'm okay now. I mean, I ate lunch at 4 p.m. yesterday, but I'm fine. Like that was when I was hungry. And it's like, I so appreciate you saying that to me a few weeks ago because that was such insightful information, not only for someone going in to surgery, which is not like a small deal or anything, but like also for someone who's just trying to just chill, you know? Like life is stressful.
Yeah. I love though that you mentioned like at the very beginning of your recovery, like learning to not only ask for what you need, but like there's like the accepting that you needed something. And then at the beginning, it sounds like that was, yeah, it was really hard to do. And that there was a lot of other stuff attached to it. Like it wasn't just you asking for something, it was like loaded with layers of other stuff.
So many layers back.
And then you did it, and then you did it again and again, and it got easier to do. And you're like, the anxiety and that sort of thing started to kind of fall, and you started feeling differently.
Right. You know, and the interesting thing is like, I don't mean to stay on this question for a long time. Like if we run out of time and like haven't gotten through all the questions, I'm sure it's fine because I think the dialogue is really great.
Yeah, same.
But when I'm great, I'm really glad. But I know that for me, as a trans person in my own identity, only talking for myself, my dysphoria was not where I thought it was. I thought, you know, I had a certain amount of dysphoria and, you know, that was how it was. And, you know, I was used to it. And I was so insecure about myself. And after I got top surgery and after I got the binder off, thank God, that was not fun. And they're like, this was on a little tight. And I'm like, you think? I was like, thank God. After I finally got it off for good, I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, that's not my stomach. Those are my ribs. And it was like, what? I never thought that like it could hold me back so much, like dysphoria could hold me back so much to look at my body and to actually like touch it and feel bones, you know? And it is just so interesting because now I'm like, oh, there's a deer outside. But it was like, I went back home, I put on like a shirt and it was like 2 times bigger than me. And I was like, okay, so, you know, it's just very interesting to see how things change. I was told by like my literature teacher that like that everything would be so much better with my like stomach insecurities and with like all of my insecurities after top surgery. And I was like, okay, but I'm like very insecure and I don't feel like that's gonna happen for me. And definitely hasn't happened like 100%. But like
Yeah.
Dysphoria messes so much with everything. And I just noticed that. And it's so like how do you keep that in check? Like you have any like this is not a question that's on my notes.
That's okay.
I'm so sorry. But
no, I love the topic. I think that so what has helped me and what has helped some of the folks that I worked with when thinking about dysphoria is yes, it's like it is so ever interfering, right? Like it's always looming there, you know, and can sort of come up when you least expect it, or when you put this, you put a shirt on that you usually love to wear, and then you put it on that one time, you're like, oh my gosh, I feel my, whatever in this, or like whatever it is. And I think a lot of times, and when I was starting to train and work around this idea, dysphoria was something that I, as a trans person, and then as a trainer, sort of held as being a sacred thing. So like if somebody said, I feel dysphoric, it was like, okay, we're going to stop. We need to we need to do something different. We don't want to feel that way. Right. I understand it doesn't feel good. Mm-hmm. But I've learned over the years more and more to start interacting with it a little bit. Right. And there's dysphoria, there's like the thoughts and the language that you have around it, right? Mm-hmm. And then if that's right here, then over here is the way that you actually feel in your body, the way that when you're having those thoughts, your body feels and moves and acts. Right. And for me personally, thinking about like dysphoria around my chest, it made me feel like this.
Yes. Okay.
Like I wanted to just get small.
Yeah. Yeah. After surgery, I was like this, and my mom was so upset. She was like, your posture's like I'm really worried about your posture. And we took the binder off, and I was like,
yeah.
It's like, when you're like, I've never done gymnastics, but when like all the flips and then they like do the thing and then they like stand up.
Right.
Just like that. I swear. And I was just like, I can breathe,
Yeah.
Like dysphoria is like, it's kind of like everywhere, but yeah.
It's similar though to the experience that you had asking for what you need. Mm-hmm. If you start interacting with those feelings and allowing yourself to spend some time where you just feel that discomfort, the less loaded the feelings will be.
Right.
Like the more that you interact with them, you'll find that one, it is very uncomfortable, but two, nothing bad happens.
Right.
You can be really uncomfortable and nothing bad will happen.
Yeah. That's so, it's so upsetting, and I think about what you said right there, and I just think about like what went through my head was just all of the moments that I've had, like the pain that comes with binding, and then trying to give my body a second to breathe, mm-hmm. was just like, felt like I was like choking my brain, and I was just like, mm-hmm. It was, I heard you, you said that so eloquently, and I can't like really respond in a way that like does any justice to what you just said, but I just feel that in my bones. I just feel it, and I just love how you phrase that so much.
I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah. Okay, well, for the sake of not doing the healing exercises, so are there healing, so this is like a 2 question in one question. So are there healing exercises that you recommend for people who are currently binding, and would you mind sharing or showing them mm-hmm. at all?
Yeah. So I think when we talked last time, I showed you a handful of things, mm-hmm. and today I'm just going to show you one thing.
Okay.
And this is going to be something that's great for while you're binding, and something that's great for when you're recovering from top surgery.
Okay.
So the idea here, when we move in just a second, when we do this movement, is that you want to come to the movement and be in the movement exactly how you're feeling right now. So if it's the end of the day and you take your binder off and you feel an onset of dysphoria, feel dysphoria while you do this.
Right. Sink into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And is this, I mean, I'm only 4.5 weeks off of top surgery. I still have some pretty bad bruising on my left side. Is this something that I'm able to participate in, like, you think?
Do you have, what kind of clearance has your doctor given you? Are you able to do any kind of like gentle weight bearing or anything like that yet?
I can do like running, and I mean, I can hold like thing. I don't, like
Okay.
25, 30 pounds or something.
I think this movement's going to be okay for you, but I would probably not do it any sooner than where you're at.
Yeah, I will go. I'll just follow you. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's fine.
Cool. This is a great movement for while you're binding and after top surgery, because it's going to create this like old nervous system connection from back in the day when you were just learning how to move, when you were learning how to lift your head up. And if you think about the way that binding, the shape that wearing a binder pulls us into, it's kind of like this shape.
Mm-hmm.
So this movement's going to make the nervous system connections that kind of pull you out of this shape and create this. There's like a pendulum between your hips and your chest and your neck that we're going to kind of play with a little bit.
Okay.
Also great for top surgery because one of the number one questions I get about recovering for top surgery is, how do I start doing weight bearing moves again, like push-ups or planks or chest presses, that sort of thing. And this is gonna help you get on that track.
Okay.
So here's the move. Tell me if you can't see me when I get down on the floor.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Okay. So this is it's called the prone head lift.
Okay.
And you start on your stomach with your hands right under your shoulders.
Okay, we can see you from like your elbow down. Is that good?
Better?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, as long as you can see like my hips to my head.
Yes. Sweet.
Okay. So hands are right under your shoulders. Okay. And in this movement, this is like not a sets and reps exercise. It's more about just being in your room or wherever you're doing it and feeling however you're feeling. So head starts down and you roll your eyeballs up in the sockets like you're trying to look at your forehead.
Okay.
And then you keep rolling them up in the sockets. And you'll notice that if you roll your eyes up far enough, your head's just going to lift. Just kind of as your head lifts, looking, and just sort of see what you notice both in front of you and like out in your periphery. And then you push your hips down just a little bit to counterbalance. And the first time, you just look around the room using only your eyes.
So like your peripherals?
What?
So like your peripherals?
Totally, yeah. And you'll notice that it's kind of hard to like not want to move your head a little bit like that.
Yeah.
And then the second time, you can start to add a little bit more movement. So same thing, you just roll your eyes all the way over to the right, and then your head moves. So as long as it's head, eyes, head, and then spine, I just start exploring the room. And you'll notice that as I look, I start to get a little bit higher on my hands.
Right.
But I'm not pushing into the ground. It's just happening because I'm trying to look and explore the space a little bit more.
Okay. I would do it, but my ribs are like still super sore, so.
Good, yeah, good looking out.
Yeah. I was like, I tried to do that move yesterday and it did not work.
Okay. Yeah, good call.
Yeah, it says it, well, I mean, I know that it was supposed to be only 30 minutes and it's been 30 minutes. So if it just shuts off, then that's probably why, but seeing as it hasn't shut off yet, let me see. Yeah, okay. So let's do, like, this is like our business plug moment. So
sweet. Okay, cool.
I know that you have a business platform, an online platform for the gym, because my dad uses it. I hear him like working out and it's the best. It makes him happy, so that's good. So would you mind plugging your website? I'll put in the description, of course, but
Yeah, so our website is www.sweetmomentumfitness.com, and we offer virtual classes, and we do those 6 days out of the week, where you can come and take a class from either me or Danielle, who's my partner at the gym. We can do something live together, or we can do personal private training, either in person next week or online.
In person next week, really?
Yeah, coming back. It's gonna be very very safe. We've got 2 big spaces, and we'll have just 2 people in each room. All wear a mask.
That's
that sort of
awesome.
thing. Yeah.
I tried. I've been wearing masks on my bike rides. I mean, I can't ride my bike right now, but when I'm in Portland, we wearing the masks when I run, and I swear to you, there is nothing like binding, running uphill, and wearing a mask.
Yeah.
It's like so many different forms of just like, you can't breathe.
Right.
Yeah, I like to say that I'm on the more fortunate side with that because of my swim training when I was younger. The competitive swimming came in with the lungs, but I do not recommend that for like.
Yeah, that's a brutal combo right there.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the channel. I am so needing this to like stay, and I'm like very sorry. That's not what I was going to say. I was going to say I'm so excited to put this out and to have people see. I know that like when I was wearing a binder, it was just it's like the rules that they have for wearing a binder are so specific and so hard to follow on a normal schedule. 8 hours is not like you as a high schooler or as someone who works for long hours, like how are you like supposed
Totally.
to do just 8 hours? And I mean, I was used to wearing it for like 16 hours a day, and it was like I was looking for exercises that I could do, and I wore my binder in the pool. I like slept with it on in planes because what else are you? So
Yeah.
this is such resourceful information. I'm so thankful for you being able to be here and sharing your not only experience but your information. I was gonna say like your experience as in like your work experience and your experience as being a trans person, because that's a lot that I'm asking for, and I really appreciate your openness to that.
Right on. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for this project. This is such an important project that is going to help get these messages out to some folks who really need it.
Well, thanks, Beck.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for joining, and we'll see you sometime later.
Bye.
All right, bye.